What are all the things that you know about credit? How powerful a tool it is? The things it can afford you in life? The financial and social life successes it brings? We could say that there is nothing better than the power of credit when you understand it. But this raises one serious question. What don't we know about credit? You see, a lot of us are blinded by society's take on the positive aspects of credit. But what if we take that veil off for a minute and truly look into what credit is about? I'm talking about its history, the corruption, and all the little things we didn't know about credit before. Let's get started. What is the first thing that we should all know about credit? I'm guessing most of you are thinking of how important it is, and you would be right. But do you know why it's important? It's because it signals your financial health to corporations and government, and that's exactly how they judge you in this world. Surprisingly, that's not taught in schools.
I'm not surprised.
Which is kind of ironic, seeing as many Americans use credit in their daily lives. And when I say used, I mean actively relying on it.
Americans say they're depending on their credit cards more as inflation continues to be one of their biggest concerns.
Rising interest rates coupled with crippling inflation has sent more and more Americans into debt.
Now to a CBS 4 Consumer Alerts. America's debt has now surpassed $31 trillion.
$31 trillion. Do you know how much money that is? That is an insanely high amount of money. This lets you know one clear thing, that our spending habits know no equals. Then shouldn't our knowledge of credit be greater? I'm not talking about the usual parts of credit that most videos teach you, which is most likely the credit scoring factors that go into the FICO scoring model, with payment history being the most consistent factor that goes into most models. But what we don't know is that there are many versions that these companies and landlords use. 6 different versions since 1989 to be exact, and wouldn't you know that each one of these FICO versions comes with different variations, meaning you have multiple different versions of your FICO score out there at any given time. And this is where we fall down the rabbit hole. Long since have our creditors and lenders been using secret scores. Now, I'm not talking about the 3 credit stooges. We're talking about an entire credit system, all built and manufactured by one company. A company that stays in the shadows and secretly dictates how we live our lives. If you want to build wealth, that is. I'm talking about FICO itself, which stands for Fair Isaac Corporation, a company that's actually listed on the stock market. And to be honest with you, I didn't know that myself, so I guess we're all learning here. So how do we know these hidden credit scores exist? Easy. We simply follow the corrupted history of credit, all the way back to its roots in the Mesopotamia area of Western Asia. No, not that far. All the way back to its roots in the 18th century. Yeah, that's better. During this period of time, credit was absolutely dependent on trust. Trust of thy neighbor. Something I couldn't imagine happens today.
America's debt has now surpassed $31 trillion.
You see, back then, as long as you had somebody credible vouching for you, banks and merchants would easily give you a loan or credit based on that recommendation, which is a far cry from the consumer credit-based model we're on now. Seems easy enough, right? Only 2 problems with that. First, there was obvious discrimination at the time, and I sure hope I don't have to give you a history lesson on that. Secondly, any huge loans like mortgages were seen as risky by banks, so not too many people owned homes in the 1800s, obviously. But that all changed in the good old 19th century, when our first credit bureau was founded, the Atlanta-based RCC Corporation, better known today as Equifax. You see, this is where things get a little tricky. The reasoning behind Equifax changing its name. Ever heard of the Fair Credit Reporting Act? No, huh? Shame. The Fair Credit Reporting Act is a federal law that regulates the collection of consumers' credit information and access to their credit reports. It was passed in 1970 to address the fairness, accuracy, and privacy of personal information contained in the files of the credit reporting agencies.
Keywords.
Credit reporting agencies. Equifax! We're talking about you, baby. You see, back then, the retail credit company was in frequent violation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, something the U.S. Congress supposedly used to protect us. You see, Equifax, aka the RCC Corporation, changed its name to separate itself from these allegations. What allegations? Oh, nothing too serious. Just the reporting of false information, invasion of privacy, and the illegal collection of data on individuals. Sort of like Facebook and Instagram today.
Mr. Zuckerberg,
Would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
No.
How's that metaverse going for you, Zuck? And you know what's even more crazy about this? Remember I talked about FICO earlier in the video?
which stands for Fair Isaac Corporation.
The evil corporation? Guess who owns a large share of that company? Who? BlackRock. And if any of you know anything about BlackRock, then you know it is the world's largest asset manager with over 10 trillion in assets under management as of January 2022. And that was a year ago. Let's just say we can save that for an entire video. But just for now, I'll leave a link down in the description below to a very good video that detail BlackRock's rise and the power they have over the companies in America and worldwide. And yes, in case you're wondering, they do have a large shareholding in both other credit bureaus. So why is this important again? Because it's important to know who has a vested interest in your life. Nope, because knowledge is power. Bingo. Let's take a look at this recent article from 2017 that details some of the corruption that goes on at our credit bureaus. A CFPB investigation concluded that Transunion and Equifax deceived Americans. Say what? CFPB standing for Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, another government agency. So you know what that means.
We're doomed.
In their investigation, the Bureau found that the two agencies had been misrepresenting the scores provided to consumers, telling them that the score reports they received were the same reports that lenders and businesses receive, when in fact that is not the truth.
No way.
Yes way, Ted!
And this was just in 2017. That wasn't that long ago. And what was the fine for all that mistrust to the public?
$3 million.
Joke money compared to what they made from deceiving consumers. What do you guys think about there being hidden credit scores and alternate credit bureaus? Wait, what? Yeah, it's more than 3 credit bureaus. You're kidding me. Which is why we're going to discuss this in detail in another video. You didn't think we could possibly get everything we didn't know about credit in one video now, did you? If you learned anything or if there's anything that I left out that you want to say something on, go ahead and comment down below. Like the video and subscribe to the channel because critical thinking is what we do here on Jabo TV. Until next time, be safe.